What's up, everybody? This is All Things Entertaining here, bringing you with a brand new video. Today, we're going to be tackling part 2 of the Fist of the Gadgets leaks. Today, we're going to be discussing the new Fire Fist cards that are coming out of this set, and we have some pretty spicy cards from what I've just heard over the internet and all that stuff. We even got some random support for this archetype, but I think it's going to be decent nonetheless. I think out of the two or three archetypes that are in the set, this one has the best chance of being competitively viable. And that's not really saying much because I don't think the set's going to be particularly great. But anyway, let's just jump right into the Fire Fist support. So the first card here is we have a Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Ram. It's a level 3 Fire Beast Warrior effect monster with 800 attack and 200 defense. That stat line is actually pretty good because 200 defense means it's rekindling fodder. So that's not too bad. Its first effect is when this card is normal summon, you discard one card, then target one Fire Formation Spell or Trap card you control. Set one Fire Formation Spell or Trap with a different name directly from your deck. This is a pretty good play starter, actually. You just activate your Tenki, and then you normal summon this card after you search off one of your other Burning Abyss monsters, and then you set like maybe Tensu, or you set the trap, or you set Gyoku, which is not bad, not in the slightest. It thins out your deck a little bit more. It gives you an extra search, and the potential of you increasing your opponent's or your own attack points with these cards is pretty good. So I think it's a very good play starter. So I think maybe you play 2 copies of this because of the fact that you could open it, or maybe you play 3. I think maybe 3 is probably better because so that way you have a higher chance of seeing this card and having a decent combo turn 1, and then you could just link 1 into the link 1 that I think that they're supposed to be getting, right? If this card is special summoned by the effect of a Fire Fist monster, you could set one Fire Formation Spell or Trap directly from your deck with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn, so that's actually also not bad. If you have Tenki in your graveyard, unfortunately you won't be able to set Tenki, but it does set your other ones, so if you don't have those, you could just set those. I think the second effect has a lot higher chance of being not that good because of the fact, but you should always have like the ability to set fire formation traps, but this one has a lot higher chance of being not that great, but it's still pretty good. So I think you play like 3 copies of this card, so it's really on par. The next card we have here is Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Elephant. It's a level 4 Fire Beast Warrior effect monster with 1000 attack and 1800 defense. That's actually not a bad stat line for a level 4 monster. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one Fire Formation Spell or Trap card you control to the graveyard. Special summon one Fire Fist monster from your hand except Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Elephant. So that's really good. It gives you the ability to go into your Link 2. You could also go into Hayata to steal your opponent's Nightmare Phoenix, or if they're playing like, I don't know, Salamangrates, just steal their cards. Or if you're playing against the Mirror Master, you could steal another Fire Fist monster from your opponent's graveyard. That's not bad. It gives your opponent a lot more utility, it gives you a lot more utility to play cards, and it gives you easier Link plays. So that's really strong. The second effect is you can target one Fire Formation Spell Trap card you control, or in your graveyard rather, shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, add one level 5 or higher Fire Fist monster from your deck to your hand. You can search like Coyote, which is actually not a bad card. You could also search, I know there's another level 5 that's actually not bad in this deck. I can't remember its name. I think it's like Swallow or something. So you only play those as one-ofs anyway, so having the ability to just search them out of your deck is not bad. So, and we actually got a new level 5 monster that's actually on par with the other ones. We have Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Panda. It's a level 5, 2100 attack, 400 defense. You could activate one Fire Formation Spell Trap card, excluding. If you activate a Fire Formation Spell Trap excluding during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon one Fire Fist monster from your graveyard. Except Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Panda. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Fire Fist monsters, which is very good. So basically, what this card does is immediate play starter in your in your opening hand. So if you just activate you activate Tenki, you search out you search out your Ram, you special summon this card, then you activate Ram to set another Fire Formation Trap card. There you go, you have a Link 2. Also, if you search it with Elephant, you could just go normal summon Elephant, you send the Tenki, or you send like a Tensu or something, then you activate Tenki, search out Ram or something like that, and then just or Bear, and then you get to special summon Panda. So this card has a lot of utility in the deck. I think you play it as a one-of still because of the fact that Elephant can search it out. You don't need to draw multiple copies of this card, and you can only summon it I think once per turn anyway. So I think this is a very good card though. This is quite strong. It gives you a lot of good stuff to play with. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm trying to find out where I left off. If a Fire Fist monster's you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you could send one Fire Formation spell or trap card you control to the graveyard instead. So that's pretty good. It also offers a bit of protection for the rest of your monsters. So that's really good. You just send like the trap because you set it with your Tiger King, because Tiger King's really good. So next, we actually got a kind of one of the random cards for this archetype. But I think out of all the random support this could have gotten, this one's actually not terrible. So we're gonna go over it. It's a level 6 Fire Beast Warrior Ritual Effect Monster. This is Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Elan. 2400 attack, 2000 defense. You could ritual summon this card with Fire Formation Dome, which we'll get into in a minute. You can discard one monster, set one Fire Formation monster spell or trap directly from your deck to the graveyard. That's really good. That's actually nuts. And I don't think this card is going to be particularly hard to summon. I haven't read Domi yet, to be perfectly honest with you. But if it's a continuous spell, then it's going to be very easy to summon this card. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you could just send one Fire Fist or Fire Formation card you control, except this card, and then negate that effect. It doesn't destroy it, but I think having an onboard negate is still pretty good for the deck. It's kind of what the deck is lacking at the moment. Normally you just play trap tricks or something like that nature to supplement for the fact that you have a lack of negation. So this card gives you the ability to play around your opponent's cards more. So it's pretty good. Like I said, of all the cards that this deck kind of needed, it was kind of weird to get a ritual monster, but this one is actually pretty good. So I think you could very well see this card be played as like a 2 of, maybe even 3 of, if it's that good. So next is Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Swan. It's a level 8 Fire Beast Warrior Fusion effect monster with 2600 attack and 2200 defense, and it's a beast. It requires 2 Beast Warrior monsters. So if you're playing not instant fusion, if you're playing Super Poly in your side deck, this could be very good against the mirror match, just to get rid of some of your opponent's monsters. So I can see some very good potential with this just being strictly generic 2 Beast Warriors. Though the fact that it requires 2 Beast Warriors is another thing. If this card is special summon, if you can inflict 200 points of damage to your opponent for each Fire Formation spell or trap card you control. During the battle phase, quick effect, you can send one Fire Formation spell or trap card you control to the graveyard, and then target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. So not only can you get rid of 2 cards with your opponents in the mirror match, but you can also get rid of 3 cards with the effect that you can just send your Tenkis, or you can send your Tensus, or you can send your other Fire Formations, and then just like completely wail on your opponent's monsters like that. It's pretty good, and it's a little slow because it activates during the battle phase, but it's during either player's battle phase. So if your opponent has like a big monster that you can't just get over normally, even though this card has 2600 attack, that's still not very much for a level 8 monster. You just like bat him in the head with that. So with that destruction, so it's not bad. It's like I said, it's kind of random, but I guess if with Swan, it gives your side deck a little bit more utility, because now you can just play instant fusions against your opponent. If we ever actually see Fire Fists in the meta again, but it's not bad at all. Next, we have Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Eagle. I think this was one of the first cards that was actually revealed for Fists of the Gadgets, because I think this was also in the Link Frames, I think either 1 or 2. So this is sort of like kind of a / OCG import for that. So it's a Link 2. It's requires 1700 attack. The Link arrows are bottom left and bottom right. So premium. link arrows, and it requires 2 beast warriors, so pretty generic for what it is. You can only supposed to summon this card once a turn. You can activate one Fire Fist. You can activate Fire Fist monsters for effects without sending Fire Formation the Fire Fist or Fire Formations cards from your hand or field to the graveyard. That's interesting. That's an effect that doesn't activate, so you don't have to worry about your opponent negating it with like skill drain or something. It does not activate, but if your opponent has a skill drain, then yes, it will be negated. But I mean, this card is just a blanket effect, so you can just straight up just not use your cards as cost. That's interesting. It just says, hey, your cards don't have cost anymore, and it would just said the same thing. You can target one Fire Formation spell trap card you control in the graveyard, return it to the hand, then send one Fire Fist monster from your deck to the graveyard. That's pretty good, because having a bit of a utility for your graveyards to thin your deck out even more, and to potentially rev them in the future, is good. This is a very good card. It does supplement some of the problems that Fire Fist does have, which is they kind of really don't want to remove some of their fire formations, like because they kind of want to keep Tensu on the board, they kind of want to keep Tenki on the board for the most part, and they kind of want to recycle them, which returning Tenki to your hand after being used is really good. This is easy to make. It's not hard at all, actually. It's kind of simple, so it's pretty good. The next one, we have another link to. It's Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Peacock, 1000 attack. The links are left and bottom. It's not particularly great, but I guess in this particular context, since we have Eagle, it's not that bad. It requires 2 Fire Fist monsters, so unlike Eagle, it can't be used in your other card in your Senju deck. So I'm using it as a joke. While this card points to a Fire Fist monster, your opponent cannot target this card for attacks, which is pretty good because it only has 1000 attack. When this card declares an attack, you can send one Fire Formation and a spell trap card you control to the graveyard, then target one monster your opponent controls, place that opponent's monster to a zone this card points to, and then take control of it until the end of the phase. But it cannot declare attacks this turn. So basically what this does is that it steals your opponent's monsters to basically go into other link plays afterwards. I think your opponent will still take the 1000 damage because, well, actually no, it won't take the 1000 damage because it's basically supplementing the attack damage for the stealing. So it's not bad. I don't think it's that bad to have like a Borreload sort of effect on this card. Even though it's not as good as Borreload because Borreload sent the monster to the graveyard at the end of the turn. At the end of the next turn. So it was pretty good in that sense because it was also removal, but I guess you can't really have just copy paste the effect on this card, even though it kind of is that way. But I mean, it's still pretty good for what it does. Next, we have a field spell. This is Fire Fortress atop Liang Peak. This card is always treated as a fire formation card, so you could bounce it with this one. You can use it for your other card effects, so it's pretty good. Each time a Fire Fist monsters is normal or special summon, you can place one Fire Fist counter on this card. Once per turn, you can remove Fire Fist counters from your field up to activate one of these effects. 2. If your Beast Warrior monsters attack this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. That's okay. Add one Beast Warrior monster from your deck to your hand. It requires 6. I would much rather have the 2 swapped but maybe that'd be a little bit too broken. Because neither one of these are a once per turn effect, right? Yeah, none of these are once per turn effect, so I guess it makes sense. So if you have 12, you just search 2 cards. Special one Beast Warrior monster from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. This card just makes I think Corinne and the other one, the Synchro, which is pretty cool. Personal thoughts on it, I don't think it's that great, but I think if you have 12 counters on this, you should probably already win the game anyway, because adding 2 Beast Warriors kind of just is kind of nuts. It's not a hard once per turn. I don't see any activation restrictions on this, that you can't activate each of these once per turn, right? No, this is well, it kind of is once per turn. Yeah, it says once per. It's a soft once per turn, but you could activate like all these effects in conjunction. So like if you have like 18 counters for some ungodforsaken reason, just do whatever you need to do, bro. You just win the game with just this. So this is like a win more card, if anything. We got the new fire formation Dome. This is the ritual / continuous spell that the archetype is getting for the ritual monster. When this card is activated, you can ritual summon one beast warrior ritual monster from your hand by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose levels equal or exceeds its level. So basically, it's level 6, so it's not going to be hard to summon. If this face-up card is sent from the spell or trap card zone to the graveyard, you can target one Fireverse monster in the graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect once per turn. So this card kind of doesn't really synergize well with Eagle, but that's totally fine. But I think you probably summon the ritual monster before you used to make Eagle in some ways. But this is actually not bad for what it is. It's actually kind of necessary because it allows you to special summon Firefire's monsters from your graveyard, allows you to recur some of your lost link materials and stuff like that, so it's not bad at all. So I think this is going to be a very good card. I think you play this at 2. So Fire Formation Ingen, continuous spell card. When this card is activated, you can fusion summon one Beast Warrior fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters on from your field or hand as fusion materials. It's sad that we can't use the deck. It's really sad that we can't use the deck. But I guess it might be a little bit too broken. But whatever. If this face-up card is sent to this from the spell and trap card zone to the graveyard, you can target one Firefest monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. This card is less good than the other guy, than Dome. But I guess having a recurring effect is better than none, right? Next is Ultimate Fire Formation Sinto. It's a continuous trap. When a spell or trap card is activated while you control a Fireverse monster or a Fire Formation spell or trap card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. You can only activate this card once per turn. That's interesting. It's a continuous trap that negates cards. That's pretty good. And it's searchable because it's a Fire Formation, technically. So that's not bad at all. I think all these cards are pretty good. I think the weakest card out of this set is probably actually the field spell, because it takes a lot of setup. And if you already have 10 counters on this thing, you probably have won the game anyway. So like I said, this card is probably just more of a win more card, and at best, you're probably just going to be using this for maybe just protecting your own monsters until the end of the damage step. But other than that, I think the rest of these cards are pretty significantly good. I'm not sure if this deck is going to be meta after this support, but it's definitely a good step in the right direction. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Also, if you didn't watch the last video where I talked about the gadget cards, please do so. Leave a like on those videos, and I will see you guys in the next video. This has been All Things Entertaining, signing out.